Do you remember that movie, Battle Royale, where the kids get taken to an island and they have to fight each other until only one survives? Well, imagine if you took that concept and put that into a prison in the middle of the 90s where a bunch of mafia guys are fighting over each other and only 3 can survive. If the 3 win, they get $3,300,000 each. But until then, it's every man, woman, mafioso person for themselves. To the soundtrack of Mambo music? Yeah. If you had that concept, well, you'd be watching Mean Guns. Check it out. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of MVD Rewind Collection's Mean Guns. This was a movie that I used to watch religiously, and it is directed by Albert Pyun. I think he had some pretty great movies, and this is probably one of the better ones that he ever made. And honestly, the screenplay and everything about this is pretty wild, and I'm going to tell you all about it, and then we'll tell you all the ingredients that are inside MVD Rewind's new release that just came out yesterday, and I think you're really going to like it. We're going to go ahead and jump into the review and my thoughts of this movie right now. If you're a fan of action films with gore and a little bit of like that Tarantino-esque kind of vibe going on, this might be the movie for you. So the 90s were an interesting time because we were getting Cinemax, HBO, and cable TV, while we were also able to rent movies at the video store still. And, you know, it's not like the digital times that we have now, obviously. So we were forced to kind of check out things that we might not normally check out. And one of those things was Mean Guns by Albert Pyun, who also directed many movies like Cyborg. He also did The Sword and the Sorcerer, Radioactive Dreams. Vicious Lips is another one that I thought was really fun, a sci-fi women band that's like fighting in the galaxy. He just did a lot of really weird movies, and this is definitely one of them. Imagine being in a prison and you're being told that you're all locked in and the only 3 people can survive. Those 3 people will get a $3,300,000 bonus for living. And, you know, you got this movie in a nutshell. There are some crazy characters in this movie, a lot of B-list actors who were actually pretty popular in the 90s because they were the ones kind of ruling the video stores. This is what our entertainment was. You know, we were watching a lot of riskier stuff back then, and we didn't have as many options. That's why I say the 90s were an interesting time. We got stars like Christopher Lambert, who was an action hero, B-list actor at the video store if you ever saw one. Ice-T, who obviously was a rapper turned actor. He had seen some pretty interesting roles, including a Kangaroo Man once in Tank Girl, which I just rewatched.
How much did they pay you to spy on us?
$2.15. Shut up.
But he's good in this one, and we got Michael Halsey, we've got Tom Matthews from Return of the Living Dead and Jason Lives, Yuji Okamoto, who was the Karate Kid 2 nemesis, I think, and he was Chosen, who was the guy that fought against Ralph Macchio. And I think he's even in the Cobra Kai show, which I haven't continued on past season 1, but I probably should. Those are just a few of the recognizable faces that you'll see in this. And I think pretty much everybody has their own kind of shining moment in this film. There are some lesser known people who are actors or stuntmen in the movie. In fact, there's one guy who's literally hanging upside down in the movie for about like an hour. God, I just wondered the whole time while I was watching this movie how that guy could just sit there in the scene like that. And I was like, that has to be a dummy. But I don't think it was. Anyway, I mean, what's not to like about a movie that does a battle royale in a fucking prison? You know, it's just one of those ideas that just you kind of want to see, especially when you throw in a bunch of B-list actors in there. This was just a movie that me and my friends, we used to pop on all the time. It used to pop up on the cable channels a lot of times, so we would watch it there. But now I've heard other people say, oh, this is a terrible movie. Why would you like it? Yeah, it's super cheesy. It's super independent, but there's something really fun about it that makes you want to watch it. And I really enjoy watching the movie. I watched it again last night, had a great time. I really enjoyed myself. I liked watching each of the characters sort of fight over each other, use each other, and just say and act the most ridiculous ways ever. And that's part of the charm of the movie. It's a part of the charm of an Albert Pyun movie in some ways too. For those of you who are fans, you know, he didn't always take himself super serious. He was an entertainment guy. It just was one of those movies that I think is one of the better ones that he ever did. Now, this movie was written by Andrew Whitman, who actually never did anything else, really. I think he did like a short on something else, but this is it. They even had Christopher Lambert come in to do work in this movie, and he's a pretty big part of this movie, and he only worked 2 days on set. But you would never know it because Christopher Lambert really kind of steals the scenes in the movie because he's a madman. He's like a guy that has lost his marbles. Something tragic happened to one of his children, and he has gone crazy to fight all the bad guys, and he has been wrapped up into this whole story. Because essentially what happens is Ice-T, Vincent Moon, he is a mafia guy, and he is one of the top main guys in the city, and he gets everyone. We're talking good and bad guys, people who are corrupt, people who are snitches, just every type of person into one specific spot, basically have them fight to the death. He has dirt on each and every one of these people, so they kind of have to come and they kind of have to fight. So while they're fighting, Ice-T's like hiding out in the like tower, you know, to watch over everything and just kind of be like this sort of jokester on the microphone while everybody's killing each other. Christopher Lambert definitely steals the show in here. Michael Halsey's really good. I really like seeing Tom Matthews in this, as well as you know, his partner. They play characters Oz and Crow. It's Tom Matthews and Yuji Okamoto. There's just a lot of different things to like about the movie. It does go on for quite a while, but to be honest with you, I watched this last night and I didn't even realize it was an hour and 50 minutes. That's how quick it went by, because it has sort of this like Tarantino-esque feel to it, and you're sort of learning why they're in there, or each character individually. Sure, there's some fodder, you know, people just getting shot that are nobody. They literally just dump guns without any bullets in them, and everybody's like firing their guns at each other. It's a great moment in the film, you'll see. And then they dump a box full of all of the bullets, and it's just hell breaks loose. Until the very final three, of course, that is. It's cheesy action and a lot of the moments. There's some characters who are doing like stunts on rails and just to look cool, and it's just a silly movie in that regard. Some really great actors in this movie that went on to do some pretty big stuff, you know. You say B-list actors at the time, but they really have done a lot of work since then. I think you'll enjoy these characters probably as much, and you'll see the charm in it. They're just scene after scene of these people fighting different people, different little quirky little situations for each of the characters. Like one of the guards that comes in, you know, they hand them cards each to say what their sins are. And it's like this like game show in a way that is fun. You know, it's not like a super suspenseful movie and there's no real winners because they're all bad guys. So it's kind of just fun fodder to watch them all kill each other off. You as the viewer are sort of trying to figure out which one is the nicer one of them all. Pretty much all of them are not nice people. So it still kind of gives you some of your favorites, some of the ones you root for, some of the ones you know they're making poor decisions that will pay off later on in the film. If you can kind of watch some of those straight to video sort of movies that came out in the 90s, you'll understand that sort of vibe in a way. It's definitely not as cheap as some of those 90s movies, but definitely within that realm. But yeah, if you're a fan of this stuff and you like action, I highly recommend it. just understand it is an indie film. I know I say that a lot. If you're not used to the 90s, this might be a little jarring for you. You might not understand the acting style, but I think if you've seen enough Tarantino films, you should be okay. But I love it. I think it's like a 7.5 or an 8 even, and it is definitely going to be lower on some people's scale, but I have a little bit of nostalgia for this movie because I've just rewatched it so many times. And then to finally have it on Blu Ray is kind of awesome. It really looked really good because this is a very like flawed looking movie in a way. Like I couldn't even imagine when it came to DVD, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those kind of things. But now Blu Ray, like holy crap. And what I'm going to do is actually get into that now. I'm going to do a unboxing of what's inside, some of the extras and everything. So we're going to get into that now. So yeah, this is the classic cover, by the way. Obviously, it has the Be Kind, Please Rewind to kind of do the MVD nostalgia thing. 'Cause this is part of their Rewind collection, which thank you, by the way, for sending this out to me, MVD. They are big supporters of the show, and we are big supporters of them. They are helping a lot of different companies like boutiques and stuff distribute their stuff and sell their stuff in multiple places, even helping produce some of the cases, artwork, and everything. So they really do a lot. But yeah, this is the new cover, so you can kind of see like they kind of have like this newer look to it that makes it look a little bit more serious, with Christopher Lambert on the front and Ice-T kind of shadowing in the background in a moment in the film. And I like this new cover, so I kept that on there because I kind of have it on the front here. But if you like, it's on the reverse side. On the inside, though, we got the MVD regular disc that they normally do for the Blu-rays and the 4Ks. And then there's a poster in there. I'll show you the reverse without the stickers here. Hold on a second. You can see it through the case, but here's also another look at it. Doesn't have the, like, Be Kind Rewind, but yeah, both sides. I just prefer to have the new one underneath. We also get this poster, the mini poster that is of the regular cover. That is pretty much it for the physical stuff, but the extras on here, I will kind of go over all of that with you. Now this is region free. This is A, B, and C, so you can watch this pretty much anywhere. You can see for yourself. It is in the aspect ratio of 2:35:1 with LPCM 2.0 stereo and subtitles in English. It is 104 minutes long, which is quite a long movie actually. It is about an hour and 45 minutes or so. For special features on this film, we get the audio commentary by director Albert Pyun, which I saved that one. I was going to dip into it, but I watched all of the interviews instead. I'm definitely going to come back to that. We also have the introduction by director Albert Pyun, which is just him thanking people for the actual Blu-ray transfer. We got a new interview with producer Gary Schmoller, who kind of talks about his history with Albert Pyun. We also have a new interview with executive producer Paul Rosenblum, who was pretty interesting to talk about. He does the same thing. And then we also have one of my favorites of the three is a new interview with composer Anthony Riparetti, who really dives deep into his relationship with Albert Pyun and just kind of like music and what he was doing when he was asked to do music for Albert Pyun. And it's just a really fun interview. I really enjoyed watching that one in particular, but they're all good. We also get an original theatrical trailer, obviously the reversible art, which is the same as the front, and the collectible mini poster. So yeah, that's everything, guys. That is the Mean Guns release from MVD Entertainment, their Rewind collection. Thanks again, MVD, for sending this one out and also kind of giving it a nice look. I love the posters. I put them up all over the place, so you know, because they never ever get used. What do you think of this movie? Have you heard of it? Did you see it before? Are you a fan of it? I would love to hear what your thoughts about this film are and whether or not you like it. I know there's not everybody out there who's a fan of it, but I'm a big fan, and I've really had a lot of friends who we've sat down and watched this together a multitude of times. And I think if you haven't seen it, you might have found a new gem that you have missed in the 90s that you can check out for yourself. It's out now. You can pick it up. without pre-ordering. Pick one of the links down below. I got the Diabolic DVD, MVD, all the places that you want. Whatever's cheapest for you, whatever works, I don't mind. I just provide many so that you have multiple different choices. Thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. I really appreciate all of your support. More on the way. If you haven't checked out, we got a giveaway that we're doing on the new episode of Lady Terminator. Watch that video. It'll tell you everything you need to know. It needs to be in by the 12th. So that's the cutoff line. Other than that, thanks for coming by. And as always, long live the void.